And we are live here. Hello, my friends out on the internet, and to our fellow subscribers. Jeff here. And hey, we have a treat for you today because today we are coming to you live from one of our projects here. So you're figuring, oh, what are we doing here? Well, this is a friend's house that we got called over here to because there was some issues found when they have this unit up for sale and they have an offer from the buyer. And the buyers of my friend's property here, which I'm standing at, the buyers have brought in an inspector, and the inspector has found a bunch of engineering failures here that I thought would be some really great common ones that we find all the time that I wanted to show you here. So without any further ado here, I want to flip the camera around and show you. So this is a good treat for you guys because this is like the first time that we've ever broadcasted live from. There we are. We got disconnected momentarily. Let me flip the camera around here. All right, so here's one thing that was, first of all, that was really dumb. So this is a new doorknob that I put on here a few months ago here for our friends, right? And of course the inspector found this. He goes, oh, well, the thing's all taped up. They must be broken. And I'm like, what the heck is this? So apparently the buyer's real estate agent, don't know why, thought it would be a really good idea to take this tape here and put it over the doorknob. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't want people operating the lower handle, but that's just dumb. Because look at this brand new brushed metal handle that I put on here. And the real estate agent comes in here after the fact and does this. Now tell me, if you're a buyer and you walk up to somebody's door, let me just back up here. If you're walking up to somebody's door and you see that on the door, does that set the good tone? Is that curb appeal? I mean, you only have one chance to make a first impression, and they just blew it with that. So, and then look at this. They put the tape on this. I mean, if that doesn't just look like the dumbest thing I've ever seen, let's just do whatever we possibly can to shoot ourselves in the foot and not get this place sold. So that was one thing here. So I wanted to show you some of the common engineering failures that the inspectors are going to find when they come in here. So I brought some of my tools over, and you guys might recognize this. That's my new my Milwaukee, the little vac there, the little HEPA vac that we got before Black Friday, the Black Friday sale. So what happens is the inspectors come in and they'll give you this report. See all these pictures and everything? This kind of reminds me of Alice's Restaurant, you know, with a 27 circular pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one telling what each one is to be used against us. So one of the things they find, and this is very common here, I wanted to show you this, they always come in to the kitchen and they want to confirm that you have a GFCI outlet, which they do here. Within 6 feet of a sink, you always have to have an outlet here, right? And so what happened is they come in with their little tester here and they test it. Now, every homeowner should have one of these things. They're not even 10 bucks. And make sure you get the one that's got the button on it because this button tests the GFCI outlet there for you. Even though there's a tester button on there, I prefer to test it both methods because this will actually put a fault across those leads there. It tests the outlet in a different circuit path that the internal tester does. So anyway, he comes in, puts this on here, and what does he see right away? You see how you got that red and orange there? And right there on the thing there, it tells you that the hot and the neutral are reversed. It's that second line up from the bottom there. The hot and the neutral are reversed here. So this is a very common thing. So I also come to find out that the seller's real estate agent had brought in some people to do some work, and apparently they weren't very qualified. Now, you know, this is what blows my mind when people do this kind of stuff, because I can understand almost somebody miswiring an outlet like this, but come on, do you not take a $7 tester, put it into the circuit, and see in 1 second that you wired it wrong? These guys didn't even check their work. They're just, I don't know. I don't want to badmouth people or anything, but that clearly is not the way you do an outlet, folks. Love all your shopping videos. Well, thanks, Ross. Thank you so much. So since it's wired wrong, of course, it doesn't test properly now. So what we'll have to do is come in here. So apparently what they did was the black wire is supposed to go on the gold screw, and the white wire is supposed to go on the silver screw when you're doing outlets. That's all it is. That's all you got to do. But that is a very common failure mode that we see in houses. And when I've been called in by my friends to help inspect houses they're going to buy, a lot of times we see that they don't even have the GFCI outlet in the kitchens. And by the way, the latest NEC codes, the National Electric Codes, say that you have to have a GFCI/AFCI outlet in the kitchens now. In the bathroom, it can be just a regular GFCI still, as of today. But as of now, you have to have an AFCI/GFCI, which I doubt that this one is anyway. A lot of inspectors aren't aware of that and they don't catch that. But this one would have failed. It would have failed my, for sure, it would have failed my inspection there. I got this at Black Friday too. That's the fender cover of the car, but I usually put it down on the counters there when I'm doing work in there. So we'll have to come in and fix that. What else did they find? I want to show you something here there's 2 code violations right here. And I guess back in the mid 80s when this was built, the builders used to get away with stuff like this. But so you see this electrical panel right here, and you see how the refrigerator is, and the refrigerator is blocking the panel. And it's not really, because I can still open it and get in there. So I'm not so sure I would call it a failure, but the buyer's inspector called this out because the refrigerator is sort of blocking part of it, where you'd have to pull out the refrigerator if you want to unscrew all 4 screws and get this panel off to take a look inside there. Now, the other code violation here that I wanted to show you, and this is a very common one. What I'm showing you guys, we see stuff like this all the time. It's utterly stupid. I don't know how it happens or why it happens, but do you see these screws here? So you got this screw here. There's 4 screws that fasten down these electrical panels, okay? And let me show you the difference between them here. I'm going to show you something here. So when I pull the bottom screw out here, and we examine the screw, do you see anything different about this screw that looks maybe different than screws that you're used to seeing? Notice how he has a flat top to that screw there? That's required by code, by National Electric Code. And a lot of people don't know this, but I see this failure all the time in electrical boxes. So this is the correct screw right here, okay? And I guess over the years where handymen have come in and done work and they start messing with things here. Let me pull out my screwdriver because I have to loosen this a little bit more here. So we're going to take a look at this screw here and see if I can do it here at the same time. Okay. All right, so when you pull this screw out, you notice anything different here? That's a sharp tipped screw. In fact, this isn't even a threaded metal to metal, in my opinion, the proper type to use for securing metal on a metal. This looks more like a wood screw maybe, or maybe sheet metal. I don't know, but anyway, you should not have that point on there. And the reason why is when you look inside these electrical panels, when you pull this cover off, there's going to be all those black wires and the white wires in there, and you run a pointed nail through there, you can pierce one of those. And now you have a possible death hazard, because if one of these happens to pierce a black wire carrying 120 volts and somebody ever touches this screw, they're in big time trouble. That's why coming down here to this other one, you have to have this flat head screw, not flat head, the flat tipped screw here. So you guys, you learn something every day here, right? And what a difference. And let me bring these right over here and set them down here for you side by side and show you what a difference 2 screws can make there. How the top one is allowed by code and the bottom one is not allowed by code. So these are very common issues. So if you're going to sell your house, I'm telling you guys right now, buyers will walk away from the deal when they see stuff like this in the reports. And so you want to head these things off ahead of time. So if you know you're going to be selling your house, these are the simple things that you can check right now and at least know ahead of time before you put it on the market and get somebody qualified in to come in and fix it. Okay, and I'll show you another failure right out here. This is out here in the hall, right outside the kitchen here. And here's another outlet that's on the wall here. Now this one is wired correctly, but here's the problem. Let me try to stabilize the camera so you can see. See how the outlet's moving? So that's what they do. He'll plug their things in there, just give it a wiggle, and the outlet isn't supposed to be able to move. So it just means that the outlet isn't tightened down to the box properly, and then the plate. So you can see the stress that's on the. I can walk into anybody's house and tell you all the stories that have been going on over time. See that stress crack right there? So this is why I hate plastic whenever I come in to take over a property, I usually try to get the wide metal plates. So they'll cover up any screw ups that the builder made with the outlet boxes and everything. So there's a screw up there. That's easily fixable. That'll take not even 5 minutes to do that. So if you guys saw our how to install a fan video a few months ago that I uploaded, these are the fans that we installed here in this house here. So I want to take you back outside to show you a couple of other things that they found. This, like again, I'm going to show you this again. Just look how stupid that looks. That's the first thing you saw when you come into the house. It's the last thing you see when you leave, and it just looks like somebody was using, cheap lipstick on a pig tape to fix something. Don't know what, but I ain't buying it. All right. So now here you can see outside the front door here, I've got my telescopic ladder set up because the inspector found this. And in my opinion, really, the real estate agent should have had this kind of looked at before. But in a way, I'm glad they didn't, because judging by the quality of the help that they already had come in here before and look at some of that stuff, I'm not very impressed. But anyway, so you have water rot here in this wood here. This is the back plate, and you can see all the powder coming out. So there was also some what we call dry wood termites. Now these are the good kind of termites. A lot of people, when you hear termites, you start panicking. Oh, no, termites! But these are not subterranean, as far as we can tell, because subterranean would just have. They would have huge colonies spreading everywhere. The dry wood type of termites, they can only do a small limited area and then they die off because they don't have the big fancy wings that can help them spread out and move the colony. So they kind of eat themselves to death. They kind of concentrate in one area, and when they die out, that's it. There's no others to take over. I don't understand how that works or why it happens like that, but you can see all of the powder and the frass coming out. So let me show you what the frass is, because I think we have a couple of termites right there. So you see that kind of orangish powder there? That's the frass. That's the termite poop. And when you look at it under a microscope, it usually looks like a hexagon in nature. But I could see a couple of dead termite parts in there. So this is not an active colony, luckily. So I think what I'm going to do here is if you guys saw that video I put up back in early October or late September, where I took a wooden door that was eaten up by rot, like this. It had much bigger holes than this, and we filled it up and sanded it and painted it, and you couldn't even tell. So that's what's going to, I think, look pretty nice there. So we'll go ahead and patch that up and paint it up, so that way any other inspectors that come and look up, they're not going to see wood rot. They're going to see what looks like regular painted wood up there. Okay, so these are the things that you have to look for before you put your house up for sale. Don't just put it up and go and say, oh, it's as is and blah, blah, blah. Because you know what? The buyer's going to say, nope, as isn't. As in, I ain't buying it. And here's another one here. Okay, so he found multiple instances of this rot. So we're going to have to address every one of these here. We have to address those. Okay, let me show you what else. This is really stupid, and I don't know how this happens. So that light socket up there, we tried putting this light bulb and it won't even screw in, and it's not like the thing's broken. It looks fairly new. So they had some kind of handyman come in sometime in years past to put this socket up there. And the homeowner told me it never worked right. So the handyman didn't know what the heck he was doing and didn't even check his work, didn't even see if the light worked. The light bulb never worked. So what we have to do is tear that thing off and go get a new one. I might just buy a whole new light fixture, a small light fixture, and put it up there, an LED one. And then the buyer's inspector saw that. So these are the things that they look at too. So I think this was done by whoever was doing the work up here, that they just dug up into the ceiling there and caused all that kind of problems up there. You see that? So the popcorn had come off, and you could see the tape has separated from the drywall there. So I'll have to do a quick patch there, and then right there where my finger's pointing there, we'll seal that in with caulk. And once we get everything all sealed up there, we'll just paint. I think they have some leftover paint, so we'll paint all that, and nobody will ever be aware that this was ever up there. So these are the little stupid things that end up in the reports here. I want to show you something else here too. So usually the buyer's home inspectors are pretty thorough. They'll come out and start checking everything here. Now you see this water main right here? So this is the main shutoff for this particular townhouse here. Now watch what it's doing there. It's just completely spinning in place here. So this one here, we pretty much theorize that this is very common failure mode, by the way. We think that the stem is cracked on this one. Now, if you saw, I did a repair on shutoff valve that looks almost exactly like this at a friend's house back in October. And you can go back and see that one, how they had a drip there, and we fixed the drip just by tightening the packing nut a quarter of a turn, and you can also add additional packing back in here. But in this case, what you have is a broken stem. And usually the builders around here put up all of these super cheapy valves and stuff like that. They really put the screws to you when they're selling you these properties. So what we're going to do is I'm trying to convince the buyer, not the buyer, the seller, my friends, the sellers. I'm trying to convince them that we want to bring in our licensed plumber friend to get rid of this thing. We'll cut it out and we'll put in a quarter turn ball valve. Those are much better, much more reliable. Those have like that handle that you turn it 90 degrees and you're done. These things I never liked, and I'll tell you why. They're almost designed to fail because over time, as you loosen these to turn the water on, these nuts have a tendency to want to loosen. That's how they get loose in the first place. That's why when you have drips coming out of these, we always tell people the first thing you do is get a wrench and tighten that 1/4 of a turn or a half a turn and see if that solves it. And 9 times out of 10 it does. But so this is a multi-turn valve. Some people refer to it as a gate valve, which is not entirely correct. Some people refer to it as a 3/4 gate valve. A real gate valve is like those big red valves you see outside the shopping malls for the fire extinguishing. Okay? So that's another thing. And so what we'll have to do is, that's our water meter right here for this unit. We'll pop the lid up off the water meter, the main, that's the main from the city there coming to our unit, and then we will start to cut that out. Now, just to remind you, sometimes the cities don't want you messing with those. They want to charge you $100 to send some dude out with the same key that I showed you in my other video, and to do it, to shut the water off. So I want to show you another failure mode that they pointed out here. Very easy fix, by the way. So this here is the condensate line from the air conditioner. And what the inspector didn't like here was the fact that right here, it's not sealed like with silicone or something. So that'll be a 30-second fix right there. We're going to fix that up with silicone and get that going nicely for us. Yeah, and so, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw our video that we uploaded last night. It was the first part of a series that we're doing on what we think is the best bathroom renovation we've done to date, and a really good series. So we started it last night, and over the coming week or two we're going to be uploading more videos showing you the progress of how that bathroom went. So what I'm bringing you back here to show you is something else that they found. So the inspectors will always come and they want to check out the main breaker box. They want to see if there's rust, corrosion, or if people did anything stupid. And yep, sure enough, somebody did something stupid. So this is another big one that I want to show you here. So let me just kind of close the box down a bit to show you. So this is your main. So here's the meter. Right here on the right is the meter. And then that pipe right there is what takes the power from FP&L. And this is your main box here going into your house. That switch right there, if you turn that off, will shut off power to your whole house. Now let me get the camera right in there and show you something that's illegal here. Actually, I'm not even sure it's an actual violation of the National Electric Code, but any sane electrician would never support you doing anything like this. So you see the 2 black wires that I'm wiggling there at the bottom there? They're coming up into trying to keep my fingers away. They're coming up in there. That's called double tapping. And you're not allowed to double tap. It's the dumbest thing in the world, especially on a main right there like that, to have those 2 black wires coming in there tapped onto the main thing, because that breaker there is not designed for that. Now there are certain breaker switches from Square D and maybe 1 or 2 other companies that are specifically designed for double tapping. This is not. This will create many nuisance problems for you, and it could also cause your breakers to set to trip on you. And then if you look down here at the bottom here, I could see a lot of rust already forming and developing. So anyway, the person that double tapped these two wires here, we traced them and they go out to the bottom there and they pop down on this little box down below. And you know what that little box is? That looks to me like that's the doorbell transformer. That's all the way around. The doorbell's on the opposite side of the property on the front. But I believe, and I don't know if the builder did this, I suspect that it was the builder that did this originally, because this had to have been done when the place was built. Otherwise, how would you get power to this doorbell transformer here? So I think that the builder screwed this up, and they screwed it up big time. And guess what? The doorbell's not even working now anyway, so I'm going to do some testing on this later on. I believe that transformer is bad. So what happens is it takes the 120 volts coming out of the power, the main power there, and it converts it to 16 to 20 volts, okay, which is what the doorbell button needs to operate and power the doorbell. So there you have it. That's how that whole electrical failure goes. And they were saying here, there's another hose bib right down here. They're saying that this one's leaking. Let me get these leaves out of the way here. And if this one's got a drip leak, they said at the stem, then we'll try tightening that nut right there, just as we showed you in that previous video there. So anyway, yeah, guys, let us know down in the comments whether you think we should do more of these. I like doing these live to show you exactly what we're facing when we get to a project here. And people do some really stupid things. Here's another one here that I'm noticing here, which wasn't in the guy's report, but you see that? That's the two floodlights there. So there's no light bulbs in there. To me, you never, ever, ever leave a socket exposed with no light bulbs in there. Because who knows what could happen. Kids could be coming by with a metal pole, and these are the freak accidents that should never happen. People go, man, I can't believe that ever happened. What are the odds of that happening? But they happen. Kid could walk by here with a metal pole, and it could land right up in there and hit the socket, and boom. Kid gets shocked and killed. All from something that somebody didn't even know about, didn't think about, wasn't even looking at, had no idea it was there. Out of sight, out of mind. Most people don't even know that floodlight is up there, but I know it's up there. I know it's there. All right. So, yeah, I'm miffed that real estate agent did this. I'm taking this tape off like today. So the thing too is, look, they use duct tape, and I'm sure it's going to leave some piece of residue there. Chucky Dog says, very good info. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, this was the place that I helped my friends out with. You've seen a number of videos from here. If you guys remember, I did a video over the summer on how to fix the squeaky door. And that was the front door there that we worked on. And as we head up the stairs here, I'm going to show you briefly that bathroom that I completely redid for them, except for the up to the where the here we go. So you guys might have remembered seeing a few videos over the summer that I shot in here. So I completely redid this whole half of the bathroom for them. Put the new vanity in, the new faucet there, the new mirror, all new light there. And then you might recall we showed you how to make this look like $1 million again, even though we didn't remodel it. But remember how it was all dark and scummy, and years of people putting dirty silicone all across there, and we just cleaned it up. We put a little bit of grout back on there, regrouted it, and just re-siliconed the corners. It made it look like $1 million because they just didn't have it in the budget to go ahead and remodel that there. All right, so the other failure that the guy found, there's the other ceiling fan that we installed here. The other failure is here in the master bath. Very common there. So all you got to do is just walk around your house and make sure everything works. Make sure the lights all work. This is the master bath here. Master shower. So yeah, this looks reasonably decent here. So it's just the little things, and you always want to walk around and check. I walk around with my tester and I check every single outlet. But when we take over a foreclosure property or we're doing repairs in there, I'll go around the entire house and I change out every single outlet and every single switch. And I guarantee you, we always find problems on quite a few of them here. And then the other issue he found was this fan, for some reason, will not come on, even though it looks like the remote's working because the red light goes on. But so something happened up there. I don't know what. So I got to go find out, because I put that fan up and I know this was working when I tested it a few months ago. So either the motor burnt out, which is something I hope didn't happen, because I don't feel like dealing with the warranties on those right now. You know, you expect to hook something up and you want it to stay working there. So this is what we have here. So this particular property here yielded probably a half a dozen videos for us so far. And now it's doing another one. It's doing a live stream, and we're probably going to film on here we're going to do that film today. We'll video it and start getting them uploaded in the next couple of weeks. How to fix that cross-wired thing there. And we're going to do another video on how to fix this outlet here. And then we'll do another one on if we decide to patch all that wood rot outside there. So that's where we stand here with that. And we have another one we have another video uploading today on how to spray paint popcorn ceilings. So that's going to upload, I think, somewhere around 6. It won't be a premiere. We're just doing it as a straight upload. We actually took the old one that we had and did from a few months back. It triggered a copyright claim because we used some what we thought was free music and put it in the background, and YouTube came and said, "Oh, copyright claim." I'm like, "Oh, you're kidding me." So we had to redo it. So that's going up tonight. So anyway, we're going to film a few more videos from this place here. And that's it live from here. I hope you guys like that. If you do, let us know in the comments if you want to see more of these live updates and live streams from our projects that we're working on. Oh, and there was one more. I want to show you this other one here. This is a common one here too. So here you got this dryer, and let's see. Okay, so we got it on right now, right? This is an old dryer too, by the way. So you open the door, it's supposed to stop, and it doesn't. So the switch right here is bad. It doesn't seem to be doing its work anymore. So you have to turn it off manually. So that's sort of a safety thing. But you know, these things are so old that if I was the buyer, I wouldn't even want these. I'd be immediately buying new appliances when I moved in here anyway, right? All right, guys. So listen, I thank each and every one of you here for joining us today here on this live stream here. So we have a lot of work cut out for us here ahead, and we're going to get busy on that, and we'll get busy filming it, and we'll get busy uploading those. And by the way, if you guys haven't subscribed to our channel, you got to make sure you do, so that you don't miss out on all of this valuable knowledge that we're giving you guys here. You know, real world situations. I don't do those stupid little 5-minute Home Depot clinical, you know, where it just seems like everything's perfect and, oh, here's how you do this, and in 5 minutes we're going to show you how to do wood flooring. Now, we show you all of the things that you're going to find out there in the real world. So make sure you click on that subscribe button down below. Make sure you give us a thumbs up down below as well. And if you don't get alerts from us, make sure you click the gray bell icon down below, because we'll be uploading videos and YouTube won't tell you unless you say on this channel, I want Jeff to send me alerts. So you got to make sure you click on that bell icon as well there. Well, that's it for this time, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all on the next one. Later.